turkey. What's a roof's called?
The African grey parrot is facing a severe threat of extinction, majorly due to illegal trade, with a decline rate of 21% every year. The wildlife campaign manager at World Animal Protection, Edith Kabasime, says that this has led to a significant decrease in their population, with over 1.2 million African grey parrots traded globally since 1970s.
As World Animal Protection, our mission is to work with others to move the world, protect animals, that is animals in the wild and animals in farming. But also our vision is a world, we really want to see a world where animals are free from suffering and they are not being subjected to cruel treatment. So the conservation tool, government should actually look at the underlying causes. Why these, in the first instance, why these animals are declining. So habitat protection is one of those measures government needs to really focus on. Habitat protection not only inside protected areas but also outside protected areas, because we know there are many forest patches outside protected areas where some of these birds reside. But we also know that most of the deforestation, most of the habitat loss is taking place outside protected areas. Therefore, emphasis should be put on working with communities, working with private forest owners to ensure that those forests outside protected areas which serve as habitats for African grey parrots are protected. The other thing is to explore the tourism option, because when communities protect their forests, there has to be incentives for why they need to protect these forests. And if African grey parrots were added on the list of what I would call the must-see species in Uganda, then certainly people would have the motivation to keep those forests, which in turn would provide habitats for African grey parrots. And we can actually develop, as a country, we can develop tourism around African grey parrots, so that when tourists come to see the chimpanzees, they come to see the gorillas, they come at the same time see the African grey parrots.
According to a research by Nature Uganda, the African grey parrot has been listed by the International Union for Conservation of Nature as an endangered species.
So as we are talking about 1.4 million birds traded successfully, it means over 2.8 million birds have been taken out of the wild. We are saying this is not a sustainable trend. In Uganda, we are receiving a lot of money from tourism. Before COVID, we received over $1.5 billion from tourism. And we think, based on our assessment, that more than 100 million of that comes from people who have come to see the birds. So why should we trade in these species if we are getting so many people who want to see these birds in the wild and are raising a lot of money out of it?
The Chief Warden at Uganda Wildlife Education Center Conservation Area, David Mutsingo, highlights cases of illegal African grey parrot illegal trade seizures in Uganda.
In 2011, we rescued 200 parrots, not only as UEC, but we worked together. In 2013, we rescued 33 parrots. In the same year, we received 131 from Mpondwe in Kasese. In the same year, 2013, I don't know why, we rescued 140 parrots from Kauku on the Tebe Road. Just recently, 2022, we received 119 parrots were rescued around Chisoro.
This was during research findings by the Director African Conservation Program at World Parrot Trust, Dr. Rowan Martin, at Hotel Africana in Kampala. Rowan revealed the need to set up breeding centers for the African grey parrot.
There's a very significant demand for parrots to be used as pets, both within Uganda and internationally. It's often suggested that actually breeding more parrots and developing parrot farming could be a solution by providing a sustainable source that would alleviate pressure on wild populations. But some of the recent research that we've been doing, we did a big review into some of the key assumptions behind that argument that this could be a useful strategy for addressing trade. And we found a worrying number of red flags, ways in which that trade could actually have the opposite effect.
Meanwhile, Government of Uganda through the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities has enacted a number of laws and are signatory to a number of conventions which regulate the trade in such endangered species like the African grey parrot.
A case in point is the CITES, which is Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna. And as a country, we've gone ahead to domesticate some of these conventions within our laws and regulations, and we've been implementing them. At national level, we also have a number of policies like the Uganda Wildlife Policy of 2014, which guides the conservation efforts in the country.